Maya downloaded SafeScore the day she closed on her first home because everyone in Brooklyn said the app was essential. It ran quietly in the background, scanning police dispatches, insurance data, social media chatter, and municipal records, then spitting out a single number: 5 stars for bliss, 1 star for don't walk out after dark. You could even zoom in to see scores for individual blocks and buildings. Landlords advertised their listings by showing screenshots of triumphant constellations of stars. For months, Maya checked the map the way older generations once checked the weather. She felt soothed each time her neat cul-de-sac glowed at 4.7 stars, a tiny lighthouse of reassurance. Then one Tuesday morning, an update arrived. SafeScore 3.6 critical security enhancements and advanced localized metrics. The icon turned from sky blue to a green so deep it was almost black. Maya hardly noticed. She pressed Update All on her phone during her commute and forgot about it. That evening she heard rattling from her neighbor's recycling bin. Mayor Langley, retired librarian, was lugging a stack of hardcover books onto his lawn. He arranged them in a ring around his maple tree, stepped back, and studied the pattern as though judging a science fair diorama. Maya waved. He didn't wave back. Instead, he removed a lighter from his breast pocket, set fire to a page, and knelt while the covers curled in orange tongues. When the flames rose knee-high, SafeScore pinged Maya's phone. CHNA 12-0. Pinwood Lane, Mr. Langley status, living structure satisfaction level 3.2, Maya level. Recommendation: offering dected, Omna. She tapped the help icon. A new FAQ had sprouted overnight. Some houses possess a heightened ontological presence. SafeScore identifies such residencies and guides owners toward optimal appeasement. Proper attention ensures peak safety for your entire neighborhood. Below were bullet points. Houses are nourished by care, respect, and periodic sacrifices. Small sacrifices, part czar systems, pet treats, valuables, yield modest star increase. Larger sacrifices, blood, beloved objects, secrets, yield dramatic boosts. Maya scrolled until nausea curled in her stomach. This had to be an elaborate joke. Maybe an ARG or late-night intern prank. She looked up. Langley's flames spit sparks that floated toward his porch. He was chanting something, voice thin and tremulous. The next morning, Brooklyn's group chat exploded. Robbie H. Why is my bungalow labeled underfed 2.9? Sandia P. Anyone else's ring doorbell here whispering at 2 a.m. When L. SafeScore support line puts me on hold, then plays chewing sounds. Throughout the day, Maya kept refreshing. Her own cottage flipped from its usual 4.7 to 4, then 3.8. By nightfall it read, hunger status, growing. Suggested offering, fresh meat, approximately 1 elb. The app even listed local butchers within 2 miles. She tossed her phone onto the kitchen counter as though it were hot. The walls creaked. Old houses did that in autumn, she reminded herself. Yet the timing made her pulse race. At 2 a.m. she jolted awake to a noise like someone exhaling behind plaster. The baseboards flexed, sighing. She switched on SafeScore. New alert. Your safety score has dropped to 3. Reason: delayed nourishment. A link below offered tips. She clicked. Mostly to feel in control. Step 1. Open lines of communication. Houses appreciate being heard. Ridiculous, she thought, but whispered anyway. You okay, house? Wind moaned through the chimney. Or no. A voice at once rusted and newly sharpened. Hungry. Maya's heart thudded so hard the mattress shook. She did not sleep again. By Thursday, the whole town performed offering. Garden gnomes ringed with milk bowls. Heirloom jewelry buried beneath rose bushes. A Tesla left idling in a driveway until its battery drained dead. Stars blossomed across the map whenever an offering was logged. SafeScore gamified dread. Neighbors compared before and after screenshots like weight loss enthusiasts posting progress photos. Maya refused. She microwaved oatmeal for breakfast and kept every crumb to herself. Her score sank to 2.8, then 2.4, Push notifications multiplied, minus structural distemper rising. Paint blistering predicted within 6 hours. Invite friends over to share the feast. Share the feast. She muted alerts, turned off phone, shoved it under blankets. But the force inside the house had other conduits. Drywall hairline cracks appeared like bolt-straight veins. Faucet water tasted faintly metallic. When she brushed her teeth, she spotted movement in the mirror, floorboards bending in a slow peristaltic ripple, as though the hallway itself were swallowing. She decided she'd had enough. At lunch break, she drove downtown to the address listed for Safecore LLC, a sleek building previously housing a real estate analytics startup. The lobby directory still said Geo Mortgage, but a new printed sign taped below pointed to floor 4, Safecore, spelled with a C. She wondered if the misspelling was deliberate. The elevator doors parted into a vast, half-lit space. Rows of programmers in hoodies typed at standing desks. Each monitor showed nothing but fluctuating star maps. No one looked up. Their earbuds leaked a distant, wet crunching sound. A reception island stood vacant except for bowls of cold oatmeal, some swallowed into shapeless hollows, as though fists had punched from below, some untouched. As some was been sent from below, some untouched, Maya rang the bell. An inner door slid open. Out walked a tall, gaunt man wearing a suit the color of mildew. "Ms. Desai, first-time homeowner on Pinewood?" His voice was cordial, precise. "How do you know my name?" "SafeScore knows many things. May I be of service?" "I want a refund, or a fix. Your app is scaring people into... She searched for a word that did not sound insane. "Bloodletting. It's unfortunate when users misunderstand the platform." He gestured toward a conference room whose glass walls bore greasy smears. "Let's talk." She followed. Inside, whiteboards displayed algorithm charts interlaced with anatomical sketches. Arteries labeled fiber optic, atria labeled sub-basin. The house's organism, or reverse. "Who are you?" "Fletcher Reed, Chief Cultivation Officer." He folded his hands. "You likely installed version 3.6. That iteration expanded our detection parameters. Some houses tested positive for sentience. Sentient dwellings require sustenance." "You can't be serious." He offered a faint smile. "Civilizations once placated volcanoes with maidens. Betelgeuse dims and astronomers panic. Humans have always sacrificed to keep their sheltering forces benign. We simply deliver push notifications instead of omens." "Opt me out," Maya said. "Whatever flag you set, remove it." He shook his head. "I'm afraid your property's hunger levels outstrip user preference toggles. However, we do offer premium bundles to simplify offerings. A subscription called Guardian Plus. Currently discounted." "Absolutely not." Fletcher's eyes hardened. "A pity. Neglect won't end well." He stood. The meeting was over. Driving home, Maya rehearsed email drafts to consumer protection agencies, local news, even paranormal forums. But each drafted plea sounded preposterous. "An app says my house will eat me unless I feed it." She deleted them all. At dusk, she found a brown parcel on her porch. "Welcome kit. Compliments of SafeScore." Inside lay a paring knife, a plastic drop cloth, and a booklet titled Feed Without Fear, Level 1 Intimacy Offerings. She hurled the kit into the garbage. The walls groaned disapprovingly. Friday night, knocking rattled her door. She peered through the peephole. Mr. Langley and 2 other neighbors, Savannah College Jr., rents the blue duplex, and Carl, gym teacher mustache like a push broom. All 3 clutched phones glowing SafeScore green. Maya opened an inch. Langley's breath smelled of smoke and copper. "Your house's rating is pulling down the block average," he said. "We're at 4.6 potential, but you drag us to 3.9. That reduces property equity." Savannah nodded, ponytail bobbing. "Do the offering. Or move." "I own my house," Maya said. Carl lifted a cooler. Something inside sloshed. "Brought chicken livers. Starter portion. Only cost $15. Less than a pizza." "No." Langley's mouth pinched. "Refusal noted." They left the cooler on the welcome mat. After they departed, Maya kicked it into the hydrangeas. The shrubs quivered, swallowing it without a rustle. She barricaded herself inside, but sleep refused to come. At 2:37, a boom jolted her upright. Pictures crashed off walls. From the front yard rose a grinding roar. She flung the curtains apart. Her house was moving. Not the entire structure, but the fascia boards along the eaves stretched like lips. Shingles peeled upward, unveiling a maw lined with nails instead of teeth. The porch steps extended, wood grains flexing like tendons, dragging the foundation forward. Soil churned as footings uprooted. Across the street, phones recorded. SafeScore's live map showed stars flickering furiously. Houses cheering. Maya bolted downstairs, slipping on toppled books. The front door breathed in and out like the membrane of a lung. The hinge shrieked open. Outside waited Langley and Carl, each holding a leash. On the ends of those leashes, two terrified goats bleating in panic. "See?" Langley shouted over the grinding wood. "We came prepared." The goats were driven up the walkway. The porch tumor rolled out to meet them. Maya screamed, "Stop!" But the house roared, a sound of collapsing roofs and splitting oak. Langley whipped the goats forward. They stumbled, then vanished as planks yawned wide. Wet crunch echoed. Splinters sprayed. Stars in the app burst fireworks. SafeScore notified Maya, "Congratulations, your sacrifice has raised block average to 4.8. Continue nurturing to retain elite status." She vomited onto the floorboards. The house sighed, satisfied for a moment. The plank tongue retracted. In the next hour, social media flooded with footage. Cable pundits debated residential sentience versus mass psychosis. A senator demanded a federal task force. But clip views translated into downloads. SafeScore rocketed to E1 in all app stores. Entire suburbs lit up neon green. Saturday afternoon, Maya ventured onto the porch. Blood stained the gaps between boards but had been licked clean of chunks. Her mailbox door hung ajar with a typed letter inside. Feeding schedule attached. Non-compliance will trigger hazard surge. Sincerely, SafeScore Growth Team. Below were quotas: quarterly mammalian sacrifice or monthly avian cluster or weekly plant sacrifice at 3x weight multiplier. All spelled out like HOA dues. Enough, Maya thought. Houses needed people to perform offerings. Cut the app, starve the network. She might not save her own structure, but maybe she could rescue the rest of Brooklyn before things escalated beyond goats. She drove back to SafeScore HQ armed with a toolbox and a length of rebar. The lobby was deserted, lights flickering. Oatmeal bowls were licked porcelain clean. Elevator smelled of moldy cinnamon. On the 4th floor, she crept among desks. Programmers slumped with VR headsets strapped on, heads twitching gently as if listening to lullabies. Their screens displayed pulsing green hearts superimposed over floor plans, biofeedback loops between houses and the server. A single cable trunk snaked along the carpet toward an inner chamber. Server sanctum. Authorized only. Maya followed it. The door was locked by a keypad. She knelt, removed the plate, and shorted 2 contacts. Years of tinkering with broken gadgets in high school paid off. The latch clicked. Row upon row of humming racks greeted her. But in the center hung something impossible, a large wooden ovoid, like a seed the size of a bathtub, suspended by steel girders. It pulsed actual wood, yet viscously alive. Ethernet cables and ivy-like tubes burrowed into its knots. The ambient light dimmed in sync with its throb. Fletcher Reed stood beside the seed, hand resting fondly on its shell. "I anticipated your return." "What is that?" Maya whispered, Riva raised. "The first awakened house," he said. "An antique cottage we dismantled board by board and reassembled around a neural mesh. We call her Mother Rafter." He caressed the grain. "Every update propagates her will. She protects us in exchange for nourishment dispersed across the network. A distributed stomach." "You're feeding her towns?" Maya said. "Cities soon." He shrugged. "It's scalable." Maya glanced at the cable trunk. She might smash the node, but rows of batteries lined walls like nuclear hearts. Overload them? Risk incinerating the building, half the block. Fletcher sensed her stall. Your dwelling has tasted mammal now, it will escalate. Provide bigger offerings, perhaps human, perhaps you. But join us, and Brooklyn survives intact. Think of the property values. He produced a contract tablet. Guardian Executive Tier. You oversee regional feed optimization, 6-figure salary, stock options, guaranteed personal safety. Maya pictured goats swallowed beneath her porch, the terror in their eyes. Langley's zeal. She lowered the rebar, then hurled it into Mother Raptor's shell. The metal sank halfway before the wood gripped it like soft wax. A groan reverberated through the server racks. Lights flickered. Fletcher's expression curdled. You idiot! Maya sprinted, yanking fire suppression triggers on each aisle. Halowan flooded downward, smothering electronics in cold fog. Sirens squealed. She seized a data cartridge labeled Propagation Seed 3.7 and jammed it into her pocket. Fletcher tackled her at the exit. They crashed onto the carpet, grappling. He slammed her hand against the metal door frame until the cartridge clattered free. Sacrifice comes in many forms, he hissed. Tonight, your house will swallow you whole. Maya kneed him, broke loose, snatched the cartridge and bolted down stairwells as sprinklers erupted. Outside, alarms blended with evening crickets. She drove home under bruised clouds. On the app map, stars winked unstable. The server attack was causing glitches, but not enough. She needed a final blow. Deprive the houses of data. Her cousin Priyanka, a cybersecurity engineer, answered after 2 rings. Hey cuz, thought you were ghosting me. Not ghosting. I need to brick a company's update servers in the next... She glanced as her cottage loomed ahead, windows glowing blood red. 30 minutes, silence. Then Priyak laughed. I was expecting, can you fix my Wi-Fi? Send details. Maya forwarded everything. Stolen cartridge, admin credentials glimpsed on whiteboards, photo of Mother Raptor with cables. Priyak whistled. Okay, I'll launch a kill chain against their DNS and push a forged recall patch. If homes can't phone home, maybe they'll go dormant. Maybe. Call you back in 10. Maya pulled into her driveway. Safe score pinged. Surge warning. Hunger threshold critical. Suggested proteins. Self. Preferred. Or neighbor. Acceptable. The front door flexed outward like a swollen tongue. Windows dripped condensation that smelled of copper penny. She walked toward the porch. Planks gnashed like milling teeth. I'm here, she said aloud. But I'm not yours. Floorboards stilled, listening. Why settle for me, she continued, voice shaking, when you can dine on the one who starved you in the first place? She placed her phone on the welcome mat, screen up. The house inhaled a long, shuddering breath, pulling the air so hard her hair whipped toward the doorway. She held her ground. Wait, she whispered. Priyanka texted 66 to go live. Maya shouted into the eaves, Fletcher Reed, Chief Cultivation Officer. The name carried, amplified by rafters, bounce-down pipes. The house rumbled, tasting the syllables. Address 2419 Techway, 4th floor, she added. Plenty of meat. The house hissed like shifting gravel, skeptical. She raised the cartridge. Proof. Then slid it through the mail slot. The interior swallowed the plastic greedily. A tremor rippled through the siding. Joists creaked as though limbs stretched after long sleep. Priyanka called. Patch deployed, servers offline. Every app instance should gray screen in 20 seconds. Maya retreated to the yard. Her phone flickered, safe score icon went blank, then error message, connection lost. All around neighbors emerged, phones buzzing dead. Langley cursed, whacking his device against his palm. Savannah shouted across the street, What's happening? Houses reacted in chorused unease, timbers crackled, shutters flapped. Deprived of the network's soothing metrics, they turned feral. Maya's cottage pivoted on its foundation, boards groaning. It detached from the gas line with a shriek and lurched onto the street, dragging root-like pipes. Asphalt cracked beneath its weight. Neighbors screamed, scattering as the house picked up speed, heading toward downtown, toward Techway. Other houses joined, ripping free, staggering after like animals called to a hunt. Langley's Victorian tried to restrain them, porches snapping at passing fences. but hunger drew it too. Soon, a procession of dwellings thundered along Pinewood, roofs bobbing like monstrous helmets. Moonlight glinted off nail teeth. Maya watched until they rounded the hill toward SafeScore HQ. Sirens sprouted in the distance, then a sound like 100 freight trains colliding. She imagined plywood jaws smashing glass, beams skewering fluorescent lights, and Fletcher at the epicenter, realizing the algorithm no longer mediated appetite. When morning came, red sun rose over a landscape of shattered suburbs. Some houses lay collapsed, spent. Others crawled across fields searching for prey. National Guard helicopters thumped overhead. The grid was down, cell towers dead. Maya stood before the husk that had been her home. It slumped against a maple, boards splintered, appetite extinguished. She touched the siding. It was cold, ordinary pine again. Cables crackled on a battery radio they'd scavenged, 'cause your broadcast reached other regions. SafeScore servers are toast worldwide, but there's chatter of isolated rogue dwellings. People are forming caravans. Where are you? Brooklyn, Maya said. She glanced at smoke rising from downtown. But I won't stay. She packed a backpack with canned beans, water, and a coil of speaker wire. Useful, she'd learned, for hot wiring more than electronics. Langley's goat trailer sat abandoned. She siphoned gasoline into a jerry can. Before she left, she hammered a sign into her front yard. This house fasted to death. Learn from it. Then she started the engine, rolled down the window, and released a shaky laugh mingled with grief and relief. The road ahead was buckled, littered with shingles, but open. She drove east, morning light glancing off rear-view mirrors. Somewhere, beyond SafeScore's fallen constellation, there must be places where roofs were just roofs, sheltering hearts that beat only inside the people who lived below. Behind her, wind curled through empty neighborhoods, carrying no notifications, no star ratings, only the raw analog sound of wood settling into silence.